Jerusalem is a tapestry woven from countless threads of history, faith, and human longing. Its winding alleyways and time-worn stones hold the whispers of prophets and pilgrims, conquerors and caretakers. Yet among all these echoes, none resonates more powerfully or more painfully than the story of Golgotha, the place of the skull. Here, outside the ancient city walls, Jesus of Nazareth took the weight of the world upon a wooden cross, transforming human pain into divine hope. Centuries later, the search for the precise site where that cosmic moment unfolded continues to captivate archaeologists, theologians, and seekers of meaning alike. An invitation to walk among stones and scripture. Imagine stepping off a modern bus into the bustle of Jerusalem's old city. Vendors haggle over olives and spices. Children weave through shadows cast by towering minarets and church spires. And somewhere, the call to prayer mingles with the tolling bells of St. Peter's Basilica. In the midst of this living mosaic, you join a team of explorers, seasoned archaeologists with dust-streaked boots, passionate historians with ancient manuscripts in hand, and spiritual pilgrims whose prayers are as intentional as any trowel stroke. Together, you venture toward two rival candidates for Golgotha's true location. First, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a sprawling labyrinth consecrated by Constantine's mother, Helena, in the 4th century. Second, Gordon's Calvary, a bare, skull-shaped sandstone outcrop near Damascus Gate, embraced by many Protestant pilgrims. Each site bears its own logic, charm, and controversy, but only through rigorous excavation, respectful dialogue, and the humility to let evidence guide conviction can the mist of tradition clear into fresh understanding. A pilgrim's faith and an archaeologist's tools. For millennia, pilgrim after pilgrim trod the well-worn path to Golgotha with nothing more than faith in their hearts. Some came seeking absolution, others a deeper sense of God's presence. They pressed their foreheads against the rock, burned sanctified oil in tiny lamps, and unraveled their souls in silent tears. Today's pilgrims carry GPS devices alongside prayer books. Satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar join hands with liturgies and incense. At one dig near the Holy Sepulchre, remote sensors detected a void beneath marble slabs, an abandoned quarry matching gospel references to a garden outside the Crucifixion site, John 19:41. Meanwhile, laboratory technicians analyzed pollen grains preserved in sediment, dating them to the spring of 33 CE, when Christ's death is traditionally placed. Science and faith, once cast as adversaries, together illuminate the shadowy past, the Church of the Holy Sepulchre, a living palimpsest. Step inside the Church of the Holy Sepulchre and feel the weight of centuries pressing upon your shoulders. Greek Orthodox incense, Roman Catholic processions, Armenian chants, Coptic prayers, all converging in a single moment of reverence. Beneath your feet, concealed under countless renovations, lies the bedrock of a 1st century quarry. Excavators discovered chisel marks on limestone walls, matching those left by stonecutters in Herod's era. These walls were hollowed out to harvest building blocks, then abandoned and turned into a garden, just as the Gospel records. Crucially, within what is now called Calvary Chapel, a jagged fissure splits the stone like a scar. Many pilgrims believe this mark corresponds to the Gospel's account of the earth trembling and rocks cleaving as Jesus breathed his last, Matthew 27:51. As your fingers trace the crack through a protective silver disc, a hush falls. Here history, and sacred narrative collide. In this moment, Golgotha moves from symbol to substance. Excavations also unearthed fragments of Roman-era pottery, coins bearing images of pagan deities, and a layer of ash, likely tied to Hadrian's frantic campaign to erase Christian memory by erecting a temple atop the sacred rock. Ironically, that very temple was destroyed under Constantine, preserving the holy footprint for posterity. Gordon's Calvary and the enigma of the Garden Tomb. If your heart seeks serenity over ceremony, a short climb north of the old city walls brings you to Gordon's Calvary, a bare hillside shaped uncannily like a skull. On a quiet afternoon, the sandstone turns fiery orange, and the wind carries the faint scent of wild thyme. Here stands the Garden Tomb, a simple rock-cut sepulchre embraced by believers as Joseph of Arimathea's resting place. General Charles Gordon, inspired by 19th century biblical scholarship, championed this site. He pointed to its lonely grandeur, its proximity to a main thoroughfare suitable for public crucifixions, and the carved burial niche he believed matched New Testament descriptions. While radiocarbon analysis dates the tomb's primary use to the First Temple period, its resonance with the story remains undeniable. For many, the absence of ornate architecture is no liability, but a virtue, offering a space where devotion can unfold unmediated by centuries of institutional layering. When shovels unearth shards of faith, every trowel of soil, every broken pottery shard, every microscopic pollen grain tells multiple stories at once. They speak of Roman legions and Jewish laborers, of Byzantine monks and medieval crusaders, of modern nuns and curious tourists. In the process, they reveal that Golgotha is not a monolith, one fixed point of theology, but a dynamic nexus where human and divine narratives intersect. One striking example came to light when stratigraphic analysis uncovered a thin, compacted layer of red-hued earth at the foot of the quarry rock. Could this have been the wash-off from wine mixed with gall, as some gospel accounts describe offered to Jesus on the cross? While absolute certainty eludes us, such findings enrich the dialogue, inviting believers to see the tomb and the cross not as relics locked in amber, but as living testimonies. Beyond rocks, the theology of sacred space. To Christians, certain geographic coordinates carry cosmic weight. Bethlehem whispers of birth, the Jordan murmurs of rebirth. Emmaus echoes with the footsteps of a risen Lord. Golgotha holds a singular place because it anchors the paradox, death as the gateway to life. Yet the true Golgotha transcends topography. It is woven into the fiber of every human heart that has felt broken, betrayed, or abandoned. Every act of forgiveness, every moment of self-sacrifice, every gesture of compassion resonates with the same power that drove nails into wood and split the earth beneath the cross. High-tech explorations and future prospects. The next chapter in the Golgotha saga may come not from pilgrims or trowels, but from cutting-edge technology. Researchers are already deploying LIDAR scans from drones to map subterranean voids. 3D reconstructions allow us to walk the quarry as it existed 2 millennia ago. Geochemical assays on moss spores and limestone patina offer new clues about microclimates in ancient Jerusalem. Even as debates continue, one thing is certain: the pursuit itself matters. With each digital scan or ancient coin, we learn more about the vibrant, contested tapestry that shaped and continues to shape human spirituality, preserving holiness amid modern pressures. Jerusalem today is a city of intense convergences, east and west, past and future, faiths and factions. Roads widen, skylines rise, tourism booms. Yet beneath all this modern hustle, the markers of Golgotha endure, fragile yet resilient. Conservationists work alongside clergy to stabilize crumbling walls, climate scientists monitor humidity in sacred chapels, and interfaith groups foster dialogue among communities that revere the same soil. It becomes clear that protecting Golgotha is not just about bricks and mortar. It's about safeguarding humanity's collective memory. Stories of pilgrims and personal encounters. From every corner of the globe, people journey to Golgotha with personal petitions, healing from illness, reconciliation in broken families, guidance in times of doubt. One visitor, an artist from South America, described sketching the fissured rock and finding tears flow as he drew, his pain meeting the echo of ancient sorrow in a silent dialogue. A nurse from East Asia told of kneeling by the garden tomb and sensing a warmth in her fingertips where she touched the cold stone, as if a promise of comfort passed through generations. These testimonies remind us that the site's true power lies in its ability to transform ordinary lives. How archaeology and faith learn from one another. In the quest for Golgotha, science brings precision and nuance. Faith brings purpose and perspective. Neither domain can claim sole ownership. The most profound insights occur when a geologist studies the quarry bedrock alongside a theologian reading gospel texts, each listening to the other's language. This synergy challenges stereotypes, the abandonment of faith in the face of evidence, or the denial of evidence in the name of faith. Instead, it models a partnership where research questions become acts of worship, and worship fuels the pursuit of knowledge, a living legacy. No matter where the cross once stood, the legacy of Golgotha is etched into the soul of the world. It speaks in velvet tongues to governments crafting peace treaties, activists demanding justice, families healing from trauma, and artists imagining new ways to express suffering and hope. Golgotha is not confined to a single hill, but unfolds wherever kindness conquers cruelty, courage outlasts despair, and love refuses to surrender. Looking ahead, the unfinished journey. Will tomorrow's discoveries rewrite the map of Golgotha? Perhaps we will uncover an inscription in ancient Aramaic, or a burial niche precisely dated to the early 1st century, or a layer of ash carbon dated to a known eclipse. Or maybe, the most significant revelation will be internal, a deepened sense of solidarity with every soul wounded by injustice. In a world riven by conflict and division, the place of the skull invites us to pause, listen, and remember that suffering, death, and resurrection form a single tapestry. Our global crises, climate change, forced migration, political turmoil, beckon us to embrace the same resilience and renewal exemplified at Golgotha. Final reflections, where history and hope collide. If you ever find yourself standing among the stones of the Holy Sepulchre or gazing with wonder at the crag near Gordon's Calvary, know this: you are treading the thin boundary between history and eternity. Every crack in the rock, every fragment of pottery, every grain of pollen affirms that what happened on that fateful hill changed not only the course of a single life, but the destiny of the world. May your pilgrimage, literal or metaphorical, lead you to a deeper understanding of suffering, forgiveness, and the unquenchable power of love. And may the search for Golgotha serve as a reminder that truth, when pursued with humility and courage, reveals wonders beyond what any human mind can imagine. Thank you for walking this path with us. If your heart stirred at these words, share them with others, leave your reflections below, or offer a prayer for those in need of hope. And if you haven't already, subscribe to our community of truth seekers. The story of Golgotha and the story of humanity continues.